It's a really interesting society that we live in today. We've seen a decline in masculinity, lower testosterone, and an increase in mental health and depression amongst men. We see more and more men comfortable with open relationships with their wives, intolerant to the orders bestowed upon them, whether it's taking a harmful vaccine or simply being submissive to your wife's rules. Where has masculinity gone? Why is our culture accepting the ideology that a man can become a woman simply because he chops off his genitals? These are all questions we ask ourselves every day, but yet we've been able to find a solution as to why our culture is shaped this way. In this episode, I'm going to break down the root causes to these issues and explain why modern feminism has created such a degenerate society throughout the West. My name is Kacee, and this is the Kacee Allen Outdoor Podcast. Let's set something straight. There are only two genders, no matter what the elites will try to tell you or try to force down your throat and make you believe or brainwash you. There are only two genders, and that is that. So with that being said, men and women are created a lot differently biologically and just in general. We have 6,500 differences between women and men when it comes to genetics and DNA. So why do you think that we should be able to be treated the same way or be treated equally? That's not how it works. When you have 6,500 genetic differences, you have to realize that certain roles are meant for women and other roles are meant for men. For example, someone breaks in your house, you call the police. Would you rather have a woman show up or a masculine man? A serious question. What would make you feel more comforting showing up at your door to stop a person breaking into your home to potentially harm your family? Someone who is extremely strong and going to take down the perpetrator, or someone who unfortunately is going to act on emotion and perhaps not be able to subdue someone in that erratic situation? And no discredit to any female police officer. I believe that they can do just as good as a job as anyone. But when we're talking about those 6,500 genetic differences, you have to take that into account in a certain situation that intense, and understand that male hormones would definitely be predominant in that situation and perhaps actually have a better chance of stopping the perpetrator. So these things almost seem like common sense today, but we've almost reached a point where a lot of men are sitting here dyeing their hair, they're acting on emotions, dealing with mental health issues. Like, what on earth happened? Why are people not as tough as they used to be? And truly being masculine is having the actual family ideology and the family values, protecting your wife, your kids, and not allowing your wife to sleep with other men, which we've unfortunately had to see all over the news on Twitter with a guy named Adam22. He's a podcast host with a porn star girlfriend that he married about a week before he decided that it was okay that she could do a quote-unquote BBC porn scene. And this video is actually all over the internet, and it's very disgusting. I recommend you don't watch it for many reasons. But what's actually crazy about this is we've come to a point in society where this is deemed acceptable. And here you'll see in this clip, Adam22 actually has this guy named Jason Love, who was in the scene with his wife, on his own podcast to congratulate him and say that he did a good job. I mean, how bizarre is this? Take a look.
Well, we're going to do like a full-length interview at some point, but I appreciate you banging my wife.
Oh my God.
And yeah.
I'm a professional, I go in, I knock it out. That's what I do.
Hey, I absolutely, I cannot hold it against you, my friend.
Did you see it yet?
I saw a few of the clips, and yeah, I think you put it down.
There are just so many things wrong with that. Take a look at this clip of what Adam22 actually gifted his girlfriend Lena the Plug right after she did the scene.
Okay, Lena, I'm so proud of you doing your first ever BBC scene that I decided that I wanted to get you a little something nice. Open your eyes.
What? This? For me? Oh my God! Babe, I really get to keep this?
This is for you. Anything for my queen.
Now, what both of them are guilty of is promoting pure degeneracy to the youth and even adults today to say that's okay and that's acceptable. I mean, you can do your own thing in your own life, but to publicize that, try to actually get clout off that, like there's so many things wrong with that, on so many levels. And they have a kid, keep that in mind. They have a child, and what are they going to think of this when they're older? What are they going to think when they see their parents are publicly humiliating themselves in such ways like this? It's honestly pretty fucked up. So this is as top tier of modern feminism as it gets, when the wife can sleep with any man she wants to just by asking her husband. That's as far as it gets and as worse as it gets. And these are public figures, so a lot of people look up to them, a lot of people watch their shows, and it's really funny how many people just kind of it's okay. They just have accepted that this is all right. I mean, it's making me think, are people going to start doing this themselves now? I mean, the way that clout and society and publicity is this gonna be a regular thing? Is this gonna be something that, I don't know, we'll have to see. I'll give you another example. So there's obviously the viral video about a few weeks back of the woman on the plane who claims that the person in the seat wasn't real. Well, let me fill you in on that situation. So it turns out the guy that was sitting next to her was some Illuminati, Freemasons, cult guy, nothing crazy, he just pronounced himself that way. The lady had a few drinks in her, in the airport, I would assume, a few cocktails. Sat down next to the guy, started asking some questions about the tattoo. Obviously it freaked her out, and I think it would freak a lot of people out after watching this guy, his TikTok video, explaining the tattoos on his arm. It's kind of freaky. So that's understandable. But this woman decided that she thought this person wasn't real, had to get up and make a scene, make herself go viral over billions of views. So here's the difference here. If there was a man in this situation, I'm pretty sure he would have been creeped out. He probably would have been uncomfortable and maybe said a few things and said a few prayers on that plane ride. I don't think he would have gotten up and made a scene and claimed that the person sitting there wasn't real. I think that's the masculine essence in someone to say that, yeah, this person's a little creepy, but I'm gonna stick this fight out and not publicly embarrass myself in front of an entire plane and little did she know the entire world. So that's what I think about that. So here's the video of that if you've yet to see it or be filled in on the situation.
The f off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the f off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two f, but I am telling you right now, that mother back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not.
So all you can really do is feel bad for the girl, but at the same time, I don't think a man in the right mind would have done the same thing that she did there. So anyway, moving on. And another reason why the elites want to emasculate men, because their goal is to depopulate the earth. And an easy way to do that is to get men to go away from the traditional values of being masculine and go towards the feminine side. Oh, date men. Oh, dye your hair, dye your nails, be weak. They want you to think this way because it's the easiest way to control, it's the easiest way to depopulate the earth and fall into exactly what the elites want us to do. How will this affect society? What will be the future of masculinity and the role of men? We don't know, but it's not looking promising. But the way to make that change is to step up, go against the agenda, teach your kids these values to make sure that they grow up strong and willing to protect the people they care about and not act on emotion, not act like a girl, and do what is naturally in your essence as a man. You also have to realize that governments have a lot to gain from emasculating men and making them weak. I mean, think if they actually were strong and had the thought process that they wouldn't be told what to do and weren't so susceptible to orders, they would probably revolt against the tyranny that we see today. So you can see how the governments, the large institutions, the matrix, whatever you want to call them, are incentivized by making men weak because they have more control. They can tell people what to do. They're going to be less inclined to think anything other than what they're being told, and they'll just repeat it. You think during 272 BC, during the Battle of Thermopylae, that the Persian Empire just gave in to what the Greeks wanted? No, they didn't give in to orders. They said, this is bullshit, we don't agree with this, and we're going to fight you for it. And they fought to the death and they won. So what does that tell you about then compared to today. People will not have those masculine values and actually fight for what's right. They'll just give into it because they're weak. You may finish this video leaving with ambiguous answers to what we've talked about here, but just understand, you're not alone when you're thinking and you're confused about certain things like this. And you should question the way society's moving. I mean, it's not in a positive way. There are a lot of negative movements out here and negative people that are not out for your best interests, and it's up to us to realize that. So when it comes to feminism, masculinity, and our culture in general, I'm going to continue to cover these topics, as actually my next person I'm going to interview is a dating expert, an author, and a media personality who talks very well on these similar issues. And if you're interested, you definitely want to check this one out, because it will definitely help you and your perspective on picking up women. Thank you, and tune in next time.